smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world.
Good evening, morning, or afternoon, whatever time you're watching, everybody. This is Mike from the Philip Foxes podcast. Welcome to another episode. I believe this is my third. So thank you for joining me. If you are, thank you for watching wherever you're watching. Today we have a couple things to go over. First off, we had a Huddersfield game last weekend that I have not covered yet. I was on Neil's podcast, so Beyond the 90 LCFC. Like and subscribe his podcast, by the way. Great guy. I was on his podcast, reviewed the Huddersfield game a little bit. I'll talk about some of the things I talked about on that podcast, not to be too redundant. We're also going to go over the signing of Casadei on loan from Chelsea. That's an awesome signing. I'm very excited about that. We'll go over why we should be. And then finally, we're going to preview, a little bit of the Cardiff game. I will grant that my knowledge about Cardiff is limited, so it'll be a very superficial preview. But nonetheless, I will go over what I can. So, let's get right into it. First off, we are going to cover this Huddersfield game. So we're going to load up the screen here. And so we have the lineups for the Huddersfield game. We're just going to go over that real quick. So we had Stolarczyk in goal. We had the back line that we're getting used to with Doyle, Vestergaard, Foss, Pereira. We had the midfield of Dewsbury Hall, Winks, and Pratt, and Marçal, Iheanacho, and Mavididi up front. So this game was pretty interesting. Huddersfield played man-to-man on Leicester, which made it very difficult for us to play our style. They obviously knew that giving Leicester players time on the ball is going to be very dangerous for them, so they decided that they weren't going to do that, and they actually played a pretty solid game plan of that. I'll be honest. They made it difficult for a lot of the game for Leicester to pull off their smooth passing, but in the end, Leicester did what they needed to do, and we'll go over a little bit of that. So if we just want to get back into these lineups here, so we're just going to talk about a couple players that I thought were pretty significant in the game. First off, I have to give a shout out before I go over the people that I thought were great to Callum Doyle. Callum Doyle's just continuing to grow into this team, and I mean, you can see with the rating he got on here on SofaScore of an 8.3, he was the best rated player in the game according to SofaScore. But I didn't really see it that way, maybe because I didn't know exactly what I was watching. There were other players that I thought were great, but I have to give a shout out to him because he seems to be really growing into the side and really growing into his role under Enzo Maresca. So first player I'm going to point out here that I thought was pretty special was Marçal. I think he had an excellent game. He had an excellent showing of himself once again. Just a couple things about Marçal in the game. I think he was just making really good runs throughout the game. He was getting in great positions. He's very quick, and he's good at maintaining control of the ball. Just a couple notes I had on him from this game. Again, I think just for an academy product player, he is really making a good name for himself and giving himself a very good opportunity to continue playing in the team this season and starting in the team this season. I really loved his performance. I thought that he, excuse me, just going through my notes here. He was just solid again for someone who is, his age and somebody who hasn't had a lot of opportunities, I guess, in the first team. He's taken it. He's doing what he has to do to show the manager that he needs to make a decision when he's making these team selections to leave him out. He's trying to make it difficult for him, which I can applaud. The next player that I thought did really well, and this is, I almost wanted to rate him the best player in the game, but was Wout Foss. You can see here it is 7.7 according to SofaScore. Foss was just a brick wall in this game. He really did not relent all game in terms of his passion, in terms of his work, in terms of his reading of the game. Foss was just incredible. So hats off to you, Wout Foss. I know maybe you were thinking of leaving this summer. I know he's a Belgian international. I know that some players may not want to play in the championship to potentially retain their spot on their national team. But Foss has proven that he is giving his all, and you can see that in every performance that he has. So again, great performance by Foss. I am just excited to see what he grows into for us this season in terms of his role and his leadership and his maturity inside of the team. Next player that I just want to give another shout out to, it was Steffi Mavididi. Obviously, he scored the goal. So shout out, let's give him a little round of applause there. But more than that, he just worked hard all game again. And he continues to terrorize fullbacks and center backs by taking them on and getting people to double up on him. He's going to be a terror for defenses in this league if he stays fit and stays true to what he's done so far. We've seen a couple of times that Leicester players have come in and had a few good games, or even maybe a handful of good games, and then kind of trail off. We need him to stay consistent. We need him to stay motivated. And I know that Maresca can do that, but it's definitely up to the player as well to meet him halfway and always come out with a positive mindset and the mindset that he wants to get better and wants to continue to push on. So just overall thoughts about the game. I don't think that Leicester played overly well the whole game. I know that Mavididi's goal was, I don't want to say lucky. You don't score if you don't shoot. But Mavididi definitely, wasn't a clear-cut opportunity. I know the goalie's going to feel pretty embarrassed about letting that one in, if we're being honest. But in the end, we'll take it. We need to catch a break every now and then. And Leicester being one of the top sides in this league, I'm sure that they're going to get more breaks than not. And whatever you want to say about that, whether it comes down to referees or entertainment because of the league, whatever it is, all I'm saying is Leicester got that break. He took that shot. I believe it was off his left foot, which is his weaker foot, and still had enough power on it after the step overs to trouble the goalie and fall under him. So Steffi Mavididi is gonna continue to be excellent for us, and I can't wait to see what he grows into. So Huddersfield game again, just solid, decent performance. A couple risky moments again, like in Coventry, not nearly as much as it was in Coventry. Coventry really scared us, and if they, I said it before, if they were better finishers on that team, we would have probably lost that game. And there were some moments like that in this game. Luckily, again, we're playing in the championship, and it's I don't want to say a lot more forgiving, given it's only been 2 league games, but so far it's been a lot more forgiving because there's no part of me that sees Premier League teams missing those chances unless they were just promoted from the championship. All right, so Huddersfield game, good job, guys. Keep it up. And we are going to get into the signing of Cesar Casadei. But we are just going to take a quick break here, and I'm going to leave you with this beautiful graphic and some beautiful noise for you to enjoy while we take a quick moment here. How did y'all like that? Yeah, there's a little commercial break, advertising the podcast with some beautiful chants going on. You can get that on in the background again still. Yeah, why not? All right, so we're going to get into Cesar Casadei. Love this signing. I've seen some clips of him, some really encouraging things that we can look forward to when he's playing for us. I've watched a lot of the clips from the U20s World Cup. He's great carrying the ball. He will put in a defensive tackle. He will do the work defensively. So I'm very, very excited for him. What we're going to do is we're going to just look on transfer market, some of the things about Casadei. Now, I know there's other things we could look at, but this is something that really stood out to me about him and how they're ranking him. So if you look here, I don't know if you can see my mouse here, but I'm hovering over this championship square here. He is the 28th best player in the championship according to Transfer Market. Now that is crazy because he's only 20, and if you think of how many players are in this league, there's a lot, and they rank him within almost the top 25. It's in the top 30 of players just available in the league in general. So that's super encouraging, and multiple of these things encourage me. Now, I know we have to take it with a grain of salt. I'm sure he hasn't, from what I've heard, his time at Reading, I believe he was on loan the second half of last season. He wasn't, pulling up any roots necessarily, but I don't think that was a very good team. So we have a lot more to offer him in terms of the setup. He's going to have a lot more of the ball in this setup. So I would, again, take his time in Reading with a grain of salt. So we're going to go back to transfer market here and look. I'm going to hover over this Leicester square here. Look at this. This is crazy. He is the 10th best player we have. How? I mean, he's got to be good. He's got to be good. And I'm not saying we have the best squad in the world, but my goodness, to be ranked number 10 and have just gotten here. It's, it says something about the quality that he possesses and why Enzo wanted him so badly. And just taking one more look here, we're going to go over the year 2003, this square here. Let's go a little further down here. Now look at this. I mean, there's a lot of talented players born in the year 2003, and he is, again, pretty much within the top 25 of all players born in that year. Now, I didn't, unfortunately for me, I should have brought up some statistics as to other players born in that year. I'm sure y'all, if you want to look up and leave in the comments who was born in that year, he's right up there. I mean, he's somebody that is ranked in his position and among his age group. So we have a lot to look forward to with him. From what I can tell, he's tall. I believe he's over 6 foot. I want to say maybe 6'1", 6'2". I've seen a lot of clips of him heading the ball in recently in terms of the U20s World Cup and other things like that. He definitely can get up in the air. He can see a pass. I'm not saying that he's maybe like Madison or any, maybe Tielemans or any of those progressive passers that we had in the past, but he definitely is an upgrade to maybe say like a Hamza Chowdhury or even an Ndidi. Ndidi can play some passes, but he's not overly aware around him, and that's something you cannot say about Casadei. Casadei has, from what I've seen, very good awareness to what's happening around him. Very good football IQ as to when to first time the ball, when to change the field of play, whatever it is that is required of a central midfielder, whether it be a defensive job. Now, I'm not going to say he's a pure out CDM, but I've seen many clips and footage of him putting in tackles and challenging and winning the ball back for his team. So that's something we can look forward to him. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing him in this Wilfred Ndidi role. We saw Wilf in preseason, and maybe I can't remember in any of the other games, probably has gotten through on goal, one-on-one with the goalie, and just not been able to finish. And Casadei is going to finish those chances. He maybe not every time, he's a kid, but from what I've seen, he's got 2 feet. He's finished with his right and left foot. So we have nothing but positive things, I think, to look forward to while he's growing under Enzo Maresca. And just a little caveat, I know that he's coming on loan. I really think that if we have a good season with him, I looked up his value. He's currently valued at $12 million. If we have a good season and he has a part to play in that, I definitely think he's going to be worth more, probably worth over 20 by the end of the season if he does what we hope he does. I think we should offer Chelsea 40 mil. We go right back up, end of the season, first place, points record, offer Chelsea 40 mil and get it done. Because I think he's going to be significant for us this season. And I think people are going to be surprised. I've watched a couple other podcasts, some people that are talking about the championship, and some people are not really too hype on him. And that's more people that aren't Leicester fans, and I kind of get that. If you saw him in the championship last season, maybe you didn't get the greatest impression of him, but I would look out because given the right platform, I think this kid could fly. So that's something we have to look forward to, Leicester fans. Welcome, Casadei, Casadei. I'm probably still saying your name wrong, and as an Italian, I'm sure that's something I should regret, but we are happy to have you, and we are ready for you to take off under our team and under our manager. So the next thing we are going to get into is a little preview of the Cardiff City game. But again, before that, we are just going to have a little, what should we say here? A little intermission, if you will, just to break things up and give a little, relaxation to the crowd. So just enjoy this little break we take here. And thank you for being with us on the Fellow Foxes podcast. We will be right back. You'll never sing that. You made us sing that. Sorry. Oh, I'm getting the chant wrong. Oh, my goodness. All right. And we are back at the Fellow Foxes podcast. Thank you for being with us. Right now, we are going to preview the Cardiff City game a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over just the lineups of the last two games, maybe players that had decent ratings the last couple of games according to SofaScore, and just maybe see who we should be looking out for. Again, I'm going to admit I have very limited knowledge about most of these championship teams. I started watching Leicester when they were in the Premier League and have only watched them in the Premier League till this season. So this is a whole new bag of marbles for me. And I just bear with me, guys, as I learn during this season about the championship teams. So we're going to look at the first game that Cardiff City played, which was against Leeds United. And we're going to look at their lineup here. Now, in this game, they lined up in a 3-4-3. And I looked at the second game against Queen's Park Rangers that they lost, and they lined up in a 4-2-3-1. So it seems like they will change formations based on the game. It doesn't seem like they are a team that is set in what they're going to do. So in this game, it looks like we had a couple decent ratings in their draw against Leeds United. Ugbo, I guess is how you say his name. Sorry if I butchered your name, buddy. He looks like he had a good game and a goal. Josh Bowler out there on the right in that 4 midfield. Looks like he had a very decent performance as well. Had a goal to his name. So just some people we should potentially looking out for. Also, Aaron Ramsey. He's just quality. You know that. He's played all over Europe for some great teams, obviously Arsenal and Juventus, to name a couple. So just someone to look out for. And then, again, we're going to go to their second game against QPR. Again, Ugbo had a goal. So that's something we need to look out for. He's obviously someone who gets in amongst the goals. He's someone who's so far in the season performing consistently. So something to keep an eye on as Leicester fans. And then, again, in this game, Aaron Ramsey. It looks like he had a decent performance once again. And that's someone that I would be scared of. I know we have quality, but when you have someone that's played at the level that he has and he's still playing and he's playing amongst people who might not be at his level, you need to watch. If players that can pick a pass like that and are generally playmakers will hurt championship teams, and unfortunately, that's what we are right now. And with the situation we're in, learning a new system, very high line seems to be players easily get in behind. It's definitely something that we need to watch out for because Aaron Ramsey will play people in behind, and it could cause us a lot of problems. So definitely, one thing that I'm concerned about for sure is the I guess the string pulling by Aaron Ramsey. We need to lock him down, and the best way to do that, obviously, don't let him have the ball. That's how we play. We want the ball all the time. So if Leicester City kind of do what they need to do in terms of what Maresca is asking of them, the pressing, the careful passing, the patterns of play, we shouldn't have too much of a problem. But Cardiff is definitely like a wonky game for us. I feel like I don't think they're terrible. From what I've heard, listening to other championship podcasts and things of this, they're one of these teams that seems like they might not be a threat, and then can surprise people. So I think it's paramount every game this season because of who Leicester are and how everyone views us. They need to be having their tails up. They need to be on it. They need to be sharp. And it doesn't seem like Maresca is going to allow people to not be sharp. It's still going to be a work. I mean, I've said before, I don't think we're really going to know exactly what this team is and how they play until the transfer window shuts end of August. So I would say probably 4 to 6 weeks after then, because with the style of play and the complexity and the specificity, love that word, it's going to take time. And you're not even really going to know how it should be until the players that are going to be here are set in stone. Now, obviously, we can have injuries. We have the winter transfer window as well. But in terms of just for the first part of the season, we need to get the transfer window shut. We need to know who's going to be here, who's not going to be here. And we need to give Enzo time to work with these players to see who he really rates and who he doesn't, and who challenges who. That's another big component to this season, I feel like, as well, is we need depth for challenge for these positions. We can't just have these players. And I think we saw that in terms of last season. There were some positions that weren't really challenged at all. I hate to rag on him because I'm sure he's a great person. And I'm sure that, given different circumstances, he probably wouldn't have been the way he was. But Yuri Tillmans, there was nobody in our team that could do what he did. He knew that. Everyone knew that. So he could act the way that he wanted. And he knew that his place was never up for doubt. We can't have that. We cannot have players thinking that their spot in this team is just guaranteed and locked down. We need people in challenging everybody for spots. So let's hope that we get that. Let's hope that again, Enzo doesn't allow any complacency to slip into these players, and if he sees it, he gets them out and he benches them, and that's just what has to happen if we want to continue to ride this wave of positivity and change and hope to get right back up to the Premier League. So that was my preview of Cardiff City. I'm probably gonna have a post game, obviously, rating some of the players and stuff like that, and I have a feeling we're going to win this game. I just don't see too many teams figuring us out. Huddersfield try to put on a display of how to get, how to stop Leicester City's way of playing, and they did get cut up multiple times. And with more practice and more training sessions and more experience and time in the system, that is going to start to happen much more frequently in every game that we play, to pretty much everyone that we play. So while they may have given teams somewhat of a blueprint to try and, I guess, douse these flames that are being built in this system, I don't think they really told anybody how to quench them, because they still lost the game and we still played very well. So yeah, I think we are going to do well this weekend. So again, guys, thank you for tuning in. My name's Mike of the Fellow Foxes podcast. We will be back with another episode. I'm not exactly sure when. Maybe sometime soon we will do a live stream of a game. Maybe it'll be this weekend. Who knows? And in the future, I know it's very early yet, but we may have some special things in the background to show you. I'm not exactly sure when that will be happening. It's in the works, but we will be updating the behind me area. And who knows, if you guys like what you see behind me, maybe one day you'll be able to get it. So again, thank you for tuning in. My name is Mike, and just please be kind to each other. Stay safe, stay healthy. And most importantly, enjoy the football safely this weekend, everybody, with family and friends, and with love in your heart, and just a positive mindset about this team. Go Leicester, up the Foxes. Let's go, boys.
When you're smiling, when you're smiling.